guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jordan with Big Boy Toys. Today this video is going to be about basically my 1-year review on my 2020 Ford F250. I bought this truck at the end of March, maybe the beginning of April of last year. I've had it for just a little over a year, and initially I was wanting to make a video you've seen them, the top 5 things I like or the 5 things that I dislike. Honestly, I don't think I have 5 things that I dislike about the truck, so I can't make that kind of video. So what I am going to do is basically just go over my truck, tell you what I think about it, tell you why I bought it, and just kind of tell you about my experience over the last year. So let's get started. Okay, so one of the huge considerations that I needed to make when I was buying a heavy-duty truck was, you can see behind me, this is a 36-foot Grand Design travel trailer, and this travel trailer weighs about 8,000 pounds. And initially, before this truck, I had a 2007 Toyota Tundra, and that truck does not have a lot of payload or towing capacity, and I wanted to get into the RV recreation, so I know I needed a HD truck. Initially, I had to think about getting, maybe a F250 or an F350. I was looking at GMC. I looked at all the 2500s and 3500s, and I also looked at the Ram, their 2500s and the 3500s. I also looked at the diesels. I know in the Ford, the diesel is probably about $11,000 option. I can't remember what it was in the other trucks, but it was pretty expensive, and I had to make that consideration on whether I thought I needed a diesel or more of it was a want. Of course, a lot of us want that diesel. They're big, they're tough, they're cool. Ford, I think they put out 1,000 foot-pounds of torque with their diesel engines. But ultimately, I decided on getting a gas engine, which for 2020, in the Ford trucks, they came out with a 7.3 liter gas engine. They call it the Godzilla motor, and basically it's about 430 horsepower, and I think about 470, 450 foot-pounds of torque. I'm not exactly sure how much that is, but it was also paired with the new 10-speed transmission inside of the truck. So also, initially I was kind of looking at one point I was actually looking at a Ram Power Wagon, because I really liked the off-road prowess of it. I thought the truck looked really good. It sat really good. However, when I started researching it, I quickly found out that the Power Wagon, even though it's a 2500, because it has all the off-road ability, it's actually pretty much derated, so it just wouldn't handle a trailer like this, because that's primarily designed for off-road. So I remember at one point I was sitting there watching, I think I was watching YouTube with my son, and a Tremor video came on the TV, and right then it caught my attention. I was like, wow, what is this? And it was basically Ford's kind of their version of a Power Wagon. So right away that got my interest, so I started researching it. And one of the really cool things about the Tremor package is that basically, at least with the gas version, it keeps all of its payload and towing capacity figures. So this truck behind us basically can tow the exact same thing as a non-Tremor F250. So that's really what started making me look at Ford, because when they came out with that package, it kind of fit me perfectly. I'm sure you're like me in the sense that every time you buy a new pickup truck, one of the first things you do is you want to throw a lift on it. You want to throw bigger tires, better wheels. You want to put all these things on there and make it look, bigger and tougher and more aesthetically pleasing, and maybe do a little bit better off-road. Whereas the Tremor package, it had all that stuff from the beginning, and it was all factory, it was all under warranty, and basically I didn't have to do anything more to the truck. I'm going to show you here in a second that as it sits is pretty much stock. I've done a few little things to it, but nothing as far as the suspension goes or the drivetrain goes. So this was really the reason why I needed to get an HD truck. Also in the Tremor package, and I had some videos on this as well, with the Tremor, the 250s and the 350s are basically the same truck. When you look at the suspension, they have the same amount of leafs. As far as I know, they have the same drivetrain, the same axle sizes. They're basically exactly the same. The only difference is that a 1-ton truck, the payload sticker is a little bit higher. So in Arizona, at least, which is where I'm from, if you get a 1-ton pickup truck, you actually have to register it as commercial in Arizona. So by doing that, I got to pay higher registration fees. My insurance goes up. I'm also subject to all the DOT regulations and things like that. One of the things with DOT regulations, you may or may not know, but our state police can randomly pull you over for any reason. Basically not any reason, it's to do an inspection. So it's not normally where they need you, to be speeding or doing something wrong. They can just randomly pull you over and do an inspection of your vehicle and your trailer and whatever you're hauling. So that's another, reason why I wanted to stay with the 250. So in the Tremor package, the 250 and the 350 are a little bit same. The payload numbers are a little bit less than on a 350, but I know I got some room in the background. The leaf springs on here will have 4 leaf springs and an overload. A normal 250 doesn't have the overload. So it's just a beefed up truck. So that was one of the other reasons why I got the Tremor. So let's go over a few things that I done to my truck. So one of the first things I did, so when I go camping, I put my generator back here and some other things, and I don't like to have to get into the bed every single time. So I bought these side steps down here. These work really, really well. And I actually bought these things using my Ford Pass. And so when I get my generator back here, I can just step up on it and I can get into it. I can get into the side, I can turn it on, I can turn it off. And I can usually just retract it. And in a later video, I'll actually go over those a little bit more. But for now, I'm just wanting to do basically just a walk around of my truck. So also with the Tremor package, you get these running boards that are kind of high. They're out of the way. The downside to them, for you people that are kind of maybe challenged with their height a little bit, they're a little high to get in. I'm about 6 foot tall, so if you were a shorter statue, it might be a little harder to get in, but you really have to kind of raise up to get in here. It's not that hard. You just got to kind of reach up and get in. One of the things I added were these vent visors up here. I know a lot of smokers like using them because you can crack the window and the rain will still go out. I'm not a smoker, but I just kind of like the way they look. I kind of think it gives a little bit of a sporty look to the pickup truck. Down here, this is a 7.3 liter emblem. I got those off of Amazon, put those on myself. A lot of people comment sometimes they don't like the position of it where it's at the door, that they want it over here, but I know on the Power Strokes they kind of put that emblem right there, so that's kind of where I put mine. USA flag, I got those off of Amazon. One of the things that I bought, again with my Ford Pass points, and Ford Pass is kind of a deal when you buy a Ford truck, they give you these, it's kind of like credit card points, but they give you a bunch of credit card points and you can use them to buy stuff at the dealership. I want to say it's about, I think it's around 250, 300 bucks. It kind of just depends on what the vehicle it was that you purchased. So if you purchase an $80,000 vehicle, you'll get a lot more Ford Pass points than if you purchase a $30,000 vehicle. But also with my Ford Pass points, these mud flaps down here, I actually got these. These are factory. I put those on. I put them on both front and rear. Another thing that I added, you can see in here, so you can get this truck with this, but I didn't get it from the factory, and basically these are the fender well liners on here. It's a plastic liner that goes in there. That's a factory liner. My truck didn't come with it, but you can order it with that. But I did buy those and install those. You can see I got the mud flaps back here. And then on the back, kind of the same thing. So I have another one of these that I installed. And if I had to pick between the two, I would keep that one. But I like them both, so I keep them both. So you come here to the back of my truck. Oh, here's another thing that I did. So this Super Duty back here, these decals, this truck would normally be, this would all be white right here, but I kind of wanted to make it pop a little bit. So I bought these decals off of Amazon, and I kind of think it, sets in there real nice and kind of makes it pop. Also, these lights right here, These are wired into my uplifter switches in the cab. I can turn them on and off from inside of the cab. And these are my reverse lights. Well, they're not reverse lights. They're it helps me with the trailer when I'm out camping and stuff like that. It'll throw a lot of extra light out there. So here's one of the things that did not come with the truck but can. So the gas operated assist when it comes down. My truck did not come with that. I kind of cheaped out, so I didn't get that option. But right after I got the truck, I realized I wanted that option. So I actually went to the dealership and paid for the gas operated assist. And that goes in right here. It's factory. I think I paid, I want to say about 65, 70 bucks for it, but it's basically the factory option that you would get if you ordered the truck with it. So step back here. Some of the pickup trucks, I didn't get the option. Ford has a deal on their tailgates to where you kind of push a button and a lever will come out, and it'll have like a little stair that actually comes out, and you can step on it and walk yourself up. So I didn't get that option, but when I installed this, it pretty much accomplishes the same thing. So what I'll do is I'll just put my hand up here, a leg up here. You can see I'm up in a truck with no problems at all. And then the next thing I got was this. This is a tonneau cover. It's made by Gator. And I can't remember exactly where I bought this from, but I think it was right around 500 bucks. And it seals up real nice. It's waterproof. I am in Arizona, so it hardly ever rains here. So when I say waterproof, it's kind of, at least it's drizzle proof. So you got this little pull tab right here. It kind of opens up like this. And it'll open all the way up and lock up against the window. So inside of the bed, so this is, well, let me talk about this too. So I bought these. I'm a member of the Tremor forums online. It's basically a forum just for Tremor trucks, and there was a guy in there that was selling these. I actually bought these from him, and these are the factory tailgate extender. And I really like these things because, as you can tell, they split in half like this. So you can lock them. You can lock them together like this, and it becomes an extender. It's got these little locks here that secure it from going up and down, so you have to pull them. And then it'll flip over. It'll actually have this lever right here that'll actually, there's a lot of people wonder, here, come over here and look right here. So if you see this hole in the tailgate, right there, a lot of people always wonder what that hole is for. Well, this is what it's for. If you look at this tailgate extender, and this is a factory Ford tailgate extender, this actually goes into that hole. So you come in here, it goes into the hole, pushes down, and kind of holds it in there. So that's what that's for. So, and then the cool thing is that it splits right in the middle and out of the way when you don't need it, which I really like. Okay, one of the other things that I did is I got these windows tinted. Of course, when you're in Arizona, you got to get your windows tinted. These were done at the Specialist in Tucson, and I think they did a really a good job of it. These are ceramic tinted windows, so they really cut out the heat. In Arizona, the inside of the cars, I mean, it can get up to 110, 120 degrees here in Arizona, depending on where you're at, and the temperatures inside your vehicles just get through the roof. So getting these ceramic tinted window tint was really good. It probably, I'm trying not to exaggerate, but I bet you it probably drops down your temperature inside your vehicle 40 degrees. So from 200 degrees, it might drop it down to 160. It's still really hot, but it's noticeably better when you get these ceramic tinted window tint. Also, when you turn your AC on, your AC gets a lot colder a lot faster because it doesn't have to fight that really high temperature. So that was one of the other things I did. Also, one of the things that I did not get on this truck, so I special ordered this truck. I ordered it, optioned it out the way that I wanted it. There's certain things that I did not get. One of the things that I did not get was the the sunroof in this. And again, there was a couple of reasons why I did that. One of them being that on the forums, it seems like everybody is constantly having problems with these sunroofs, whether they jam, they won't open, they won't close, or they randomly break. They leak, they have, it seems like they always have a lot of problems. And again, back in Arizona, the sunroof, the glass basically makes the inside of the truck a lot hotter. So that was one of the reasons why I didn't get it. And it's also a pretty expensive option. So I did not get that on this truck. So coming around to the front, underneath the hood, this is the 7.3 liter Godzilla engine. And so let me talk to you a little bit about this engine. So I have some other videos that you can go into and look, but I have some towing videos. Basically, I drive from here, pulling my RV behind me. I go up to, I think in that video I was going to Pine Top, and I do a whole video on that. You guys can watch that and kind of see the gas mileage that it gets going to and from. I'm going to do another video here shortly going to Flagstaff, kind of doing the same thing. This engine with this 10-speed transmission, I don't know how it gets any better. I mean, it really just tows without effort. It gets up from a get-go without any problems, without any hesitation. The transmission is butterly smooth. It shifts through the gears. It holds its gears. It just does really well. The horsepower and the torque is there anytime that I want it. This is obviously a gas engine. It's naturally aspirated, so it doesn't have a turbo. And you know, the turbo diesels are just the regular turbo gas engines. They do a lot better at elevation because they've got that constant pressure going into the engine. So this, you know, the higher you go up in elevation, the more your power is kind of zapped. I don't notice any of that. I think because it has so much horsepower to start off with that I really don't feel it. When I go up into the mountains of Pine Top and Flagstaff, pulling this RV, it does absolutely fine. No issues whatsoever. So in a year that I've had it, I haven't had any transmission problems. I know there's been some recalls and things like that, but I haven't experienced any transmission problems at all. I haven't experienced any engine problems. I do carry, so initially when they came out, some of the coil wires for the engine, I guess they kind of had a bad batch of them. So people were having problems with those where they just randomly get stranded because the coil wires, I don't know what happened, but I guess they just kind of took a crap, and then you know, people were basically complaining about that. So what I did was I went down to the dealership and I actually bought 2 coil wires, and I threw them in the back seat in my storage compartment, so that way if I ever had that problem, I would have some backup wires. Fortunately for me, I have not had that problem. So in a little over a year since I've owned this truck, what problems have I had with it? Like actual problems? Zero. I have not had any problems with this truck whatsoever. Nothing has broke on me. I haven't had to go to the dealership and get you know, something repaired, or, you know, something. It's been absolutely 100% perfect. Like that's why I was saying earlier, a lot of people do those videos, you know, 10 things they hate, 10 things they love. I think I probably have a real hard time coming up with one thing that I hate about the truck. So yeah, the Tremor package, I take it off-road all the time. I've got, I don't know, 4 or 5 videos of me going off-roading in it. The front, it's got a front limited slip differential. It's got locking rear differential. It's got 430 gears, and that's the other thing. So you can option these trucks out different ways when you buy them, as far as rear differential gear goes. So in the gas model, Ford Tremors, the only option that you can get is a 430 rear differential. There's no other options. If you get the diesel version, I think you can get a 373, maybe a 355, and you can still get the 430. I'm not absolutely sure with the as far as the numbers go, but I do know you have other options other than a 430. However, I will say this, that 430 is awesome. If you're going to tow with your truck at all, get the 430 because it really does give you that lower grunt. And here's the thing that you guys can understand. You know, back in the old days where we had 3-speed transmissions or even 5-speed transmissions, that 430 gear might make you rev pretty high, going at 75 miles per hour and a lot worse fuel mileage. You can actually, I got a video of me going down the road. It's specifically just that. It shows the RPM at 75 miles per hour. Check that one out. And I think I'm right at about 1900 to 2000 RPM, and that's at 75 miles per hour with 35-inch tires and 430 gears. So what happens is that 10-speed transmission, the way that they, you know, it's got a lot more gear range in it now. The 430 gears don't hurt it as much because those gears make up for it. So where you really get the advantage is those first, you know, gear 1 and 2 really helps you get up to speed and helps you pull things. It's just absolutely effortless. So, cut. Okay guys, so that's basically my 1-year review of my truck. If any of you guys are looking to get a factory off-road package with a truck, I highly recommend the Tremor package. I want to say in a gas version you get the 7.3 and a Tremor package. I want to say it's around 4,500 bucks. You can't get it with the old 6.2 liter V8. That you can't get the Tremor package with that. And also I don't think you can get the 10-speed transmission with the older V8. Basically you have to option it with the 7.3. So if any of you guys are looking to get a heavy-duty truck that can tow and still have an off-road package, I think this is it. I don't think any of the other manufacturers offer that, to where you basically keep all your towing and your payload capacities and don't sacrifice any of that in the name of going off-road. So, okay, as far as driving impressions go of the truck, before this, I said earlier that I had a 2007 Toyota Tundra that I basically had for 10 or 11 years. And being that this is a HD truck, it does drive a little bit different. I mean, this has a solid front axle on it. It's substantially heavier. It's got bigger tires, and overall, it's just you know, a different riding feel of the truck. However, with that said, I really do like it. A lot of times, people will complain about, you know, the stiffness of heavy-duty trucks. I can honestly say this truck rides about as smooth as my Tundra did. This does have the 35-inch tires. Now from the factory, I can tell you this. So they put 80 pounds of pressure inside of the truck, PSI. They put 80 pounds of tire pressure in the truck when you pull it off the dealer lot. So when you drive around initially, I see this on the forums all the time. People are like, oh my God, my truck drives like crap. Why is it so bad? Honestly, if you're not towing anything, you don't have a heavy load, like, you don't need 80 pounds in the tires. If you put 80 pounds in the tires, it rides like a rock. I mean, it's super stiff. So what I do is I run about 50 pounds all the way around. I put 50 pounds in the front, 50 pounds in the back, and that's kind of my sweet spot. So with 50 pounds in there, the truck rides a lot smoother, a lot more plush, a lot more comfortable. Now the downside to that is that you will lose. So I noticed that when I went from 80 psi to 50 psi, it seemed like I lost about a mile per gallon. So if you're one of those that monitor miles per gallon a lot, that might be a consideration. That if you run 80 psi, you'll get a little bit better MPG. But for me, I would rather sacrifice a mile per gallon and get a better ride. Also, when you get these trucks brand new and they put 80 pounds in the tires, the front steering feels very light. So when you're going down the road, it feels like it's wandering a little bit. And I read that on the forums all the time too. People are like, my truck feels unsafe at highway speeds because I feel that it's wandering. I can tell you, I kind of went through the same thing. It wasn't until two things. One, I got some miles on the tire. I honestly think the tires need to break in a little bit. They need to be scuffed up a little bit, get a little bit of wear into them. So I want to say probably 2,000, 2,500 miles or so. The tires kind of get broke in, feel a lot better. Also, when you lower the PSI, the tires aren't going to crown, so they're going to be flatter on the ground and give you a better contact patch. So I think with those, when those if you make those two things happen, you're going to feel the truck rides a lot better. So right now I have 13,580 miles on my truck. It goes down the road straight as an arrow. It's very quiet inside. The seats are very comfortable. Like I said, the ride is plush. I don't feel like I'm getting my teeth, you know, shattered out of my mouth or anything like that. And that's coming from a Toyota Tundra, which, you know, I love that truck too. It just, you know, I needed a heavy duty truck, and Toyota doesn't make one of those right now. So my three options were basically the Ram, the GMC, and the Ford. And overall, I thought the Ford Tremor was, you know, suited me and my needs the best. So the steering is a little bit different because this is a straight axle in the front. You're not going to get as tight of turning. I've noticed that, you know, with vehicles with IFS or independent front suspension, it'll turn tighter. And also, obviously, this is a four-wheel drive, so four-wheel drives tend to turn not as well as a two-wheel drive because there's more components up there that kind of restrict the steering angles. But yeah, so you lose a little bit on the steering, but I think, you know, all 1-ton trucks or 3/4-ton trucks, I think everybody has, well, actually I think the GMCs, I don't think they have straight axles up front, but at least with the Fords and the Rams, I know they got a straight axle in the front. I think you're going to lose a little bit of turning diameter, but it's not bad. You might just have to do more 3-point turns than you're used to. Again, back to the engine and the power. I mean, it's 7.3 liters. I think it really gets up and goes. I mean, it is a heavy truck. I'll go ahead and floor it right here to kind of give you a little taste. So I'll kind of give a demonstration of the acceleration of the truck. So I'm on flat ground here, and you guys will have to count this off because I don't know what it's going to do. So here you are from a dead stop to 60. Here we go. So there you go. I don't know how fast that is. It's probably in the 7.5 second range. I actually have another video where I do some 0 to 60s on here that are actually timed. So that's pretty much the speed at which it accelerates. But yeah, this engine pretty much just chugs along. I'm doing 63 miles an hour, about what, 1700 RPM. Transmission is in 10th gear. It's very quiet inside, very smooth. So yeah, that pretty much sums up my driving impressions. Okay guys, so that's basically my 1-year review of my truck. If any of you guys are looking to get a factory off-road package with a truck, I highly recommend the Tremor package. I want to say in a gas version you get the 7.3 and a Tremor package. I want to say it's around $4,500. You can't get it with the old 6.2 liter V8. That you can't get the Tremor package with that. And also, I don't think you can get the 10-speed transmission with the older V8. Basically, you have to option it with the 7.3. So if any of you guys are looking to get a heavy-duty truck that can tow and still have an off-road package, I think this is it. I don't think any of the other manufacturers offer that, to where you basically keep all your towing and your payload capacities and don't sacrifice any of that in the name of going off-road. So if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comment section. I'll do the best that I can answer them. I have a lot of different videos. A lot of them are on my truck. I'm going to do a lot of other videos on some other big boy toys. Basically, my channel just started about a month and a half ago. Just been getting into this. So as I progress through this chapter of my life of doing this YouTube video channel, I'm gonna start getting into doing more reviews on all big boy toys. They could be anything from RVs to pickup trucks to sports cars to power tools to everything. I think I'm gonna get into anything that is considered a big boy toy. Also, if you guys haven't noticed, I do some recall videos. By the view count, it seems like you guys really like my recall videos. Those go in. I've got a couple. I've got one in there in particular that's over 130,000 views. So these videos seem to get, you know, if I'm lucky, 1,000 views, and those recall videos seem to get, you know, 10s, 20, 30,000, all the way up to 100,000 views. So I'll kind of figure out where I'm going to go with the channel, but I'm definitely going to continue to do the recall videos because that's kind of what you guys are telling me that you like. But also stay tuned because I do really enjoy doing these other videos too. So I'm going to kind of mix it up on my channel of what I do videos on. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it, and we'll catch you on the next video. Thanks.